Why would I be making a music reaction video and more about What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction? Let's find out. Well, it's all in the lyrics. There is new meaning to the lyrics from What Makes You Beautiful. And I want to share that with you, along with speaking about One Direction, Liam Payne and AJ Mclean from the Backstreet Boys. They're all connected. There's a lot to cover. And stay to the end because you will want to find out what the next video is about. If you missed the previous video, why would a Backstreet Boy fan listen to What Makes You Beautiful? Click on the link below. Let's begin with this acoustic rendition of What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction.
You're insecure, don't know what for. You're turning heads when you walk through the door. Don't need makeup to cover up. Being the way that you are is enough.
Okay, wow. It is actually Liam that is starting off the song, talking about insecurities. I must say, he has a good voice. Everyone is insecure in their life at different times. It could be a professional thing, it could be a personal thing, it could be a family relationship, the dynamics, so many different things that can make you feel unsure of yourself and your self-worth. What were Liam's insecurities? Did they come after the band broke up? Was he uncertain about his future in music? Fans, can you share anything on what he was insecure about?
Everyone else in the room can see it. Everyone else but you. Baby, you light up my world like nobody else. The way that you flip your hair gets me overwhelmed. But when you smile at the ground, it ain't hard to tell. You don't know, you don't know you're beautiful. If only you saw what I could see, you'll understand why I want you so desperately. Right now I'm looking at you and I can't believe you don't know, you don't know you're beautiful.
I'm really happy that I found this video acoustically because I really wanted to hear what the boys' voices sounded like, because the Backstreet Boys have done a lot of a cappella. And so I must say the boys' voices sound great. There were some lyrics that stood out in the previous clip, and I want to catch them and speak about what these lyrics mean.
That's what makes you beautiful. So come on, you got it wrong. To prove I'm right, I put it in a song. I don't know why you're being shy.
Zane's doing a great job.
Away when I look into your eyes. Everyone else in the room can see it. Everyone else but you, baby.
Okay, right there. Everyone else in the room can see it. Everyone else but you. So when it comes to just these specific lyrics that Harry sings, I feel like it doesn't really have to do with beauty. It could deal with anything. It's basically for that person, they are unsure of themselves and their confidence might be low, self-esteem, self-worth, but other people might view them just the opposite. But what's important is how the person feels inside. And when it comes to Liam Payne, I don't think it has to do with his beauty. I think it has to do with his drugs and alcohol substance use. Having an addiction to such, you may not be aware that you do have beauty inside you, despite what some of the negative choices are that you make. So that's what I have to say about these lyrics.
You light up my world like nobody else. The way that you flip your hair gets me overwhelmed. But when you smile at the ground, it ain't hard to tell. You don't know. so desperately. Right now I'm looking at you and I can't believe you don't know. Oh, you don't know you're beautiful.
I feel the same way. You know, I question that. Why would you think that I'm beautiful? All I'm doing is being turned down for field placements. So when it comes to Liam Payne, you know, we're talking about being beautiful. Is he feeling beautiful inside? I don't believe that he would be if he is doing drugs and alcohol. I would have to say that if you're doing drugs and alcohol, that you're not happy and you're trying to fix an internal problem with substance use. There had to have been something that he was hiding, unsure about, confused, and I'd have to say depressed. My question is, when did drugs and alcohol start getting used by Liam? And why? So was it the stress of being in the band? Was it relationships with the boys? Did it have to do with touring and having to write songs on the road for the next album? Did it come after the band broke up? Was he uncertain about his future? Could he be a solo artist? Any One Direction fan can answer those questions, because I don't know. So let's finish up the song and we'll go from there.
That's what makes you beautiful. Na 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 na.
I like that.
Light up my world like nobody else. The way that you flip your hair gets me overwhelmed. And when you smile at the ground, it ain't hard to tell you don't know. You don't know you're beautiful. You light up my world like nobody else. The way that you flip your hair gets me overwhelmed. But when you smile at the ground, it ain't hard to tell you don't know. You don't know you're beautiful. If only you saw what I could see, you'll understand why I want you so desperately. Right now I'm looking at you and I can't believe you don't know. You don't know you're beautiful. You don't know you're beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful.
Do you guys see how these lyrics have meaning? There's so much that can be taken in from these lyrics. It is all about how a person feels about themselves, what they may think people think about them. It's all about self-esteem, self-worth. Are you proud of who you are? Yes, this song is called What Makes You Beautiful. But what makes you beautiful on the inside and how you feel on the inside. And I hope that you can reflect on how you feel about yourself and what can you do to better yourself. I want you to be happy. Yes, life is filled with stress, anxiety, and depression, but there's ways of managing it. And those lyrics of the song, they provide inspiration to those that are afraid to ask for help. And it does not have to deal with drugs or alcohol. It can be something else in maybe a friendship, a relationship, family, work. Don't be afraid to speak up and ask for help. And I'd have to say that Liam Payne was not feeling beautiful inside. There was something that was tearing him apart. Because what was the purpose of using drugs and alcohol? I understand that it can numb the pain or just stress. Was he hiding something from the boys? AJ Mclean was. And he's from the Backstreet Boys. And he has dealt with drugs and alcohol for over 20 years. And has gone to rehab 3 times. Before I share a clip of AJ's speech that he made at Aaron Carter's benefit concert in January of 2023, I want to share an interview done by Liam Payne in 2019. Here we go.
The album itself has taken, it's sort of around about 2 years it took to finish it.
Yeah, it's
and I
taken a
guess
minute.
because when you have an album out there, it's got to be a little piece of you, and you're still sort of trying to work out who you are, really.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, when we were in the band, it was a kind of a case of we'd have 2 weeks to write the album, and then they'd have already sold a tour, so we'd have to get the album done and then record it on the road. Was usually the way it was done. So for this one, for myself, I don't know why, I just wanted to take a little bit of time over it and make sure I got it right. You know, also finding your sound, getting into like new teams and stuff since we all disbanded and went our separate ways and whatever. So yeah, it's taken a little bit of time.
So when you say that you wanted to sort of find yourself when you're doing it and you're sitting
I think
there
I'm still
writing,
trying to do that, if I'm honest.
Are you? So who did you find?
I mean, I found a number of different people, actually, which was quite a scary thing. But I mean, you know, over the 2 years of making this, there's so many different things that have gone on in my life, you know, to have my child bear and all sorts of different relationships and things I've been in. So, I mean, it should make quite an interesting listen, really.
But for you, when you got into the band, was it what you expected it to be? Because you said, you have said that there were times where I just have to get out. I have to stop. This is driving me mad.
No, I mean, it's definitely been a crazy, wild... You know, everyone's kind of looking at this decade, and my decade's literally been this, which has been the maddest turnaround of all. And it's a really weird thing to look into. But no, I don't think any of us really expected it to happen in that way, really. You know, we were just kids at the time that we made the band.
I guess is once you've had all this success and dealing with that and the pressures, and we'll come on to more of those at the moment, but is finding out who you are without the band beside you, and after all of that's ended.
Yeah, that was the craziest thing. As the band kind of stopped and we had a number of months off, it was almost like going through some like weird early retirement. And then my dad actually happened to retire just after I'd quit the band, and I was like, well, wait for this to happen, you're going to want to sleep loads. We were like talking about it. It was a really weird conversation to have with your dad at 22 as well. So it was very strange. But I mean, yeah, trying to find yourself, especially after the band, you know, we were so used to being together and being known. You know, people still call me One Direction in the street. It's like, it's your name. So at the same time, trying to find out who you are.
They say, when you finish and it's suddenly not there anymore, it's like, well, actually, what am I?
Yeah, what's your purpose?
What is it? Yeah, what is
exactly.
And you had therapy.
Yes, I went through a number of different bits of therapy and whatever else. I think, you know, as Strip That Down was coming out, I was almost just as afraid of the success as I was the failure, which isn't a really very comfortable place to be in life because you're just not really sure what you're doing. You know what I mean? It was one of those sorts of things. So I went away. I had a little bit of a thing with drink, and it was a guy called Chip Summers who got me sober. I went sober for a year. And went and visited Russell Brand, actually, which was quite amazing. We went down to a meeting together and spoke about different things. It was just quite nice. You know, I think for anybody out there who is having a problem with mental health or something and that struggle it is, but the best thing is to just go and speak to someone. Because if you go through it by yourself, you're your own soundboard, and we're all just as crazy as the next person. So it's like you need someone to validate you know, your experience almost.
And stopping drinking for a year, was that something that you planned to do for longer, or did you just know, actually, I just need to sort of push reset a little bit?
Yeah, for me, I think I was just at a point in my life where I was too young to stop. And you know, in a way, it turned my social life upside down as well. So it was a very lonely experience as well as it was. Like, many things in my life went up, but also a lot of things in my life went down at the same time. So, you know, for me, it was just about pressing that reset button for a minute and realising that you could, you know, cope without it and learning about emotions. You know, we have to mask our emotions in so many different ways, and I think it's very important that you learn to deal with emotion as well, and as raw as it is, so that you know you're going to be all right.
Did you keep in touch with the rest of the guys? Did they feel a similar sort of thing?
I don't know. I mean, we've never really discussed it. I mean, I speak a lot to Louis, who's obviously, you know, he's had a crazy few years, more so than anyone. You know, a very sad few years for him, actually. But he's doing amazing. You know, he's transformed him into the most beautiful human being ever. And I love spending time with him. And it's nice, you know, to reach out to somebody who's been through that same experience. And when I often think about somebody like Justin Bieber, who kind of went through his whole level of fame by himself, he had no one else who knew what it was like to be Justin Bieber, which I think is, you know, kind of hard. So I tend to give him a little bit of a break sometimes. Whereas, you know, for us, we had each other and we all knew what it felt like to be in One Direction. And it still feels that way today.
So after that interview by Liam, you can see that he had a much better mindset. And he was on the right path. And in this interview, he spoke about his going to therapy as well as the drink, and talking about his emotions and how important it was that, you know, he talked to somebody, or people should talk to somebody. So at that time, he was mentally stable. So my question to the fans is, this is after One Direction's breakup. When did he start going down the wrong path? And what led him back to drinking and drugs and surrounding himself with the wrong people. As he said in that video, something changed, and I'd just like to know from One Direction fans what happened to Liam's mental state. Who was he surrounding himself with? And what was troubling him? And when did this begin? It sounded like, the boys in the band maybe weren't as close. Was this have anything to do with his relationship with his girlfriend, his son? I'd just like to learn a little bit more about Liam, because he really seems like he was a good guy, and because what occurred is very unfortunate to One Direction. As a Backstreet Boy fan, I can't imagine losing one of my members like One Direction fans. I know that you must be having a difficult time now. If you guys are not aware, Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys lost his brother Aaron in November of 2022. They had a benefit concert for him, and AJ Mclean spoke. He touches upon a lot of the things that Liam speaks about. Here is AJ's speech.
Any of you guys that have been following us since the beginning of our career know that I haven't had exactly the easiest go at shit. I've been in and out of recovery for over 25 years. September 26th of this past year was my 1-year sobriety date. I was a really good liar. I was a really good manipulator. I was a really good introvert. I kept everything inside. Never said shit to anybody, never talked about it, never wanted to talk about it. And that didn't work. Never worked. And it never works. And I finally realized now, more than ever, all my emotions are on the outside now. They're no longer on the inside. As hard and painful as it is every single day to wake up in the morning, go to bed at night, with all the thoughts that go through my head on the daily. Am I lovable? Am I a good person? Am I capable of loving another human being? Do I have self-esteem? Do I do esteemable acts? These are all things that I deal with on a daily basis. And being sober is one thing. But you could be sober and you could be miserable. You could be sober and be the most unhappy motherfucker anyone's ever seen on the planet and keep it inside, never share it, never talk about it, and never ask for help. And I never asked for help because I thought I had it all figured out. And as an addict, my ego runs my life. And if my ego gets too big, it will end my life. I don't have another relapse in me. What is worth it to me is being a good father, being a good husband, being a good brother to my 4 brothers. And I am so honored and proud to be here tonight to celebrate my little brother as well. I got to watch this kid grow up. But mental health is an epidemic. It is here. It's been here. And it's not going anywhere. But now it's being talked about. Now it's not being swept under the rug anymore. And I believe, in my personal humble opinion, I believe sometimes, just sometimes, unfortunately, a tragedy has to happen for us to open our eyes and to be inspired. And to then know, okay, maybe I know somebody struggling. Maybe I know somebody who is hurting. And I've been afraid to say something. Don't. be afraid to say something. Tell that person, hey, I think you need help. Or maybe this will inspire people that are struggling to finally ask for help. There is nothing wrong and there is no shame in asking for help. I ask for help every day now. I ask for help from my sponsor, from my brothers. I ask for help from my family and my friends. And I only surround myself with people that I trust, people that I would die for, people that I know love me for me with all of my imperfections, because I know I'm pretty fucking far from perfect. Trust me. For all of you being here tonight means the world to, I know, Nick and Angel. And I know little man is looking down right now and he's very happy that all of us are here to remember a very talented, a very kind, very loving human being, performer, artist, son, brother, and just an all-around good person. Just because good people do bad things doesn't make them a bad person. I did a lot of bad shit, that I can't fix, I can't take back. But what I can do is not repeat it.
AJ finishes his speech right there by saying that good people do bad things, but that doesn't make them a bad person. And I will agree with that statement, coming from a social work background and learning about one's dignity and worth of the person, having empathy, being understanding, listening. I just want to repeat some of the statements that AJ said. AJ spoke about being introvert and keeping everything inside and not speaking to anybody. And that is something that I was talking about earlier, is that I felt like Liam Payne, something was keeping whatever feelings that he was having or emotions inside, and he was not expressing them to anybody. AJ also said you shouldn't be afraid to speak to someone if there's somebody that you can trust. I know that that can be difficult to do. You are being extremely vulnerable by sharing such information. He also said that you could be sober and miserable. Never share it with people. Don't ask for help. These are all things AJ did. He also spoke about surrounding himself with people that he trusts and would die for. And I 100% agree. I have spoken about person in environment, a social work term. Your environment is very important, and the people that you have in it. If you surround yourself with people that are not bringing out the best in you, might bring on negative thinking, or might bring on poor behavior, you want to have people that will help you, listen to you, guide you. And if it is alcohol, like AJ, helping with sobriety and just being there, just to listen. That's what people need to find. They can just share their thoughts with. Because if you don't share your thoughts, they can lead you down the wrong path. AJ also speaks about Aaron Carter and all the positive things that he was. I would have to say that Liam Payne would probably match what was said by AJ. I've seen some interviews and he seems like a decent guy to me. I just want to share some final thoughts on boy bands in regards to collaborating, working as a team to make great music. And that's exactly what One Direction did. But they were overworked, just like the Backstreet Boys, just like Nsync. And it's called burnout. And what does that do but affect your mental health? What happens to your processing, thinking, and a person's stability influences how they think, what they think, how they behave. It's all connected. Everything is influenced by who you associate yourself with, the environment that you're in. Is it a positive environment? Is it a negative environment? Are you interacting with good people? AJ and Liam were together for that Netflix series, boy band thing, in August. It makes me wonder about all these boy bands. You know, Paramount Plus just put out a documentary on boy bands, going all the way back to the Beatles, to all the way to today. I want to share my thoughts on this subject and more, along with Liam and AJ. Perhaps it will be a more in-depth video that might follow. I may be a Backstreet Boy fan, but Liam Payne's passing is also emotional to me as a Backstreet Boy fan. And that is because of AJ Mclean. Why is he still alive? This is what's going to be coming up in the next video. Guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope that you have found it informative. You got to hear a little bit about the Backstreet Boys. Of course, Liam Payne. What AJ had to say. A little bit about my thoughts. Want to let you know, and you are more than welcome to reach out to me. Check the link below. This video is filled with information, and please share this video if you feel that this would help somebody else and provide them hope that things will get better. So thanks a lot for listening to everything I had to say. Please send me any feedback, thoughts on what you have thought about this video. Liam Payne, I'd love to hear more about One Direction. Take care, and I hope that you are having a good day. And once again, I send my love to Liam Payne's family, One Direction fans, and all members of One Direction. My heart goes out to you. Take care.